everyone, welcome back. My name is Jessica if you're new here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some new Dollar Tree fall DIYs. I have a lot more fall DIYs to share with you guys, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications before you leave so you never miss out on a new video. Also, today's video is sponsored by Toppin. They sell small home tech items such as air purifiers, humidifiers, steam mops, soap dispensers, and vacuum cleaners. So make sure you check out the link down below in the description box. They were kind enough to send me a vacuum cleaner, which I will be demonstrating for you later on in this video, and I have a coupon code for you. All right, now let's get started on the DIYs. So for this first DIY, I'm going to be using this nautical cotton rope. I started off with one package of it, and I just took this small little picture frame from Dollar Tree to use that to wrap my nautical rope around, so that way I would try to have the same size loops. So I wrapped it all the way around to the end, and then I just slid it off of the picture frames. Now I'm going to take some of this cotton twine that I had, and I'm going to tie it around through the inside of the loops of the nautical rope. And then I just double knotted it, and I cut off the excess nautical rope, and I cut off the excess twine. Now I'm going to take a few of the pieces, and where I tied the rope at, just move up just a little bit, and I'm going to hot glue them down just a little bit together so that way my nautical rope sections stand up a little bit firmer. And then I'm going to do this for three more sections. So I'm going to have four sections of this nautical rope. So I used 4 packages of the nautical rope for this pumpkin. Now that I have my 4 sections, I'm going to turn those 4 sections together where the nautical rope is tied and the loops are facing outward, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use another piece of twine, and I'm going to feed that through all of the sections of all of the loops, and then I'm going to tie it really tight and double knot it. The tighter you tie it, the more it will take a pumpkin shape, if that makes sense. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with it and kind of fluff it up where it needs to be fluffed up at. And then I just took some hot glue and glued some of the pieces together just around the top and also on the bottom side of the pumpkin so that way it stood up a little bit better. And then I would also suggest to keep the pumpkin's shape to use some fabric starch and to just spray it with that and let it sit so that way it hardens a little bit and the pumpkin keeps its shape a little bit better. Then I took a small extra piece of the nautical rope, and I folded it over and hot glued it together, and then I used that as my stem, so I just hot glued it in the middle there. And then I wanted some contrast, so I went ahead and took some brown acrylic paint and painted the stem just brown, so like I said, it would have a little bit of contrast and stand out from the actual pumpkin itself. To finish off the pumpkin, I just used some of this striped farmhouse ribbon I found at Dollar Tree, and I tied it around the stem and made a bow, and that was it. I think this pumpkin turned out so perfect for some fall decor and something a little bit different than the fabric pumpkins I've seen everywhere else, and I think it's super cute. Before I get started on my next DIY, I want to quickly share with you the cordless S3 stick vacuum that Toppin has sent to me. I'm just taking everything out of the box here. You can see that it comes with some attachments. It's an 8-in-1 system, so everything attaches to that canister with the battery there, and it just easily clicks into place. And it's easy to clean hardwood floors with, or low pile carpets, or even rugs. It definitely works great for cleaning up my craft room messes. It's also great for cleaning under furniture or in blind corners that you can't see very well with the 4 LED searchlights that are attached. Here I'm just changing out the attachments to sweep in some hard to reach areas. You can sweep up on your ceilings or in between couches with the attachments. It's great. And to empty the canister, that's easy. You just take it out with a click of a button. And then the button on the canister is a one-click dust dumping, so it just goes right into your trash can. And it has a uninterrupted 40-minute runtime, which is perfect. And when you're ready to charge the battery, it comes with a mount that you can mount on your wall and just plug it in, or you can pop the battery out and plug it in that way. To get your very own top-in vacuum, use the link down below in my description box, along with the code that is listed down below in the description box, plus the coupon on Amazon to get 25% off. Now back to the DIYs. For this next one, I'm going to use 2 of these round little boxes with lids that come from Dollar Tree and some of the round styrofoam pieces that come from Dollar Tree. 2 of them come in a pack. I'm just going to remove the lids and set them off to the side for now, and I'm going to use the boxes to trace out on top of the pieces of styrofoam 2 smaller circles that will easily fit inside my round circle boxes. So you can see here I had to cut a few times and the circles were not perfect, but they did just fit kind of snugly at the top inside of each box. And I filled in just a little bit with some of the extra styrofoam so that way the styrofoam wouldn't sit on the bottom of the boxes. And then I used a little hot glue to secure them, making sure that styrofoam wouldn't be pushed down inside. Now I'm going to use some of this moss green spray paint, and I'm going to spray paint each box. Then I just set the boxes inside the lids, so the lids were on the bottom of the boxes now. And now I'm going to take some of these pumpkins with the leaves on the stems from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove the pumpkins actually and the berries off of them to use for this project. I ended up only using 5 of the small pumpkins for this project because the other box, the other green box that's over there, I am actually going to do something different with, and you'll see that in a minute in the video. And the rest of the pumpkins from the stems that I had, I used later on in the video. I had 5 bunches of those leaves and pumpkin stems all together, just so you know, but I spread them out between 2 different projects. So what I'm going to do with these 5 pumpkins is I'm just hot gluing them around in a circle around the box and hot gluing them to the styrofoam, and I put them on their side and kind of tilted them up a little bit when I was hot gluing them, and then I hot glued the pumpkins together. And then there is a pumpkin on the top in the middle that I just hot glued to the rest of the pumpkins. And then there are some gaps, obviously, so that's where the berries come into play. I'm just going to take those berries and I'm just using scissors and I'm cutting them into smaller pieces that I see that I need them to fit at. And then I'm just fitting them on and hot gluing them to fill in all of those gaps around the piece. So these pumpkins do not have stems on them, and they kind of looked a little funny without stems, so you could improvise and use whatever you'd like for little stems for these, but I just decided to cut up some of the little stems that came from the bunches that I had, those little brown pieces, and then I just hot glued them inside the tops of the pumpkins. And then lastly for this, I used some of this lace ribbon from Dollar Tree and I just wrapped it around the top, and then I took another piece and tied a bow with it and hot glued that bow down. So I think this one turned out super cute, but like I said, I decided to do something different with the other one because I just wanted something different. So instead of having it green, I decided to paint it with this chiffon cream chalk paint I had. So I went outside and I painted the box with that. And then I had these little orange flowers from Dollar Tree and I plucked them off of the stems. I believe I had two bunches of these to cover this all up. And so I just decided to hot glue those around the edge of the box there to make a circle. And then for the second layer, I hot glued them to the flowers that were already hot glued down to the styrofoam. So after the first layer, the flowers are all glued to themselves. They're not glued to the styrofoam because I wanted that gradual cone shape as the flowers came up to kind of make like a cupcake shape, if that makes sense. So the flowers are all glued to themselves upwards. I hope that makes sense, but that way they are not glued down to the styrofoam, and it just gives it a better shape, I think. And then I did the same thing with some different ribbon. I found this pumpkin burlap ribbon at Dollar Tree that was super cute, and I tied a little bow and hot glued that down. And I think both of these projects turned out adorable. I like them both together. I like them both separately. Let me know down in the comments which one you liked more, if you like them both. For the last DIY, I am going to make a base out of 4 of these wooden squares that I had left over from Dollar Tree. They came in a pack of 6, but I had 4 of them left. So you can make a base out of a plate, a tray, whatever you would like, but I just wanted to use these up, and I just hot glued the edges together to make a bigger square. Then I'm going to take one of these buckets with the rope around the top of them, and I'm going to hot glue it down to my base there. It works just fine hot gluing that twine to the wood. Then I had some raffia from Dollar Tree as well, and I cut it up into smaller pieces to make it look like hay, and I'm just hot gluing it down to that wooden base and then also inside that bucket, so like it's coming out of the bucket. I think maybe if you would use spray glue, that would help to glue everything down a little bit better, because hot glue was a little bit harder to work with all these little pieces and everything, but it still worked out. I just filled it all up, and then I trimmed around the edges, and I didn't make it perfect because it just wanted it to look like hay was spilling out of it. And then I took some of these green and white pumpkins that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am just hot gluing them down to the inside of the bucket and then also the base, so that way it looks like the bucket is spilling out the pumpkins. And this just makes this, like, I've seen this display before, but this just kind of makes it like an all-in-one display, so you can kind of just pick it up and put it away at the end of the year instead of having everything scattered all over the place. And then here's those little tiny pumpkins that were left over from the other project. I just used those to fill in some gaps, and I added some extra hay, and that was it. A quick, easy, cute fall display. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the link down below in the description box for your top-in vacuum and to get your coupon codes. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.